Hey, hello!
Hello, everybody. Okay.
Hope you're having a lovely Christmas. Bex and I are with you just to really give you a bit of a gardening fix over the festive season.
Absolutely. Why not?
And we've got, it's a bit of a different show, this one. So we record it just so you can watch it throughout the festive season. But we're going to be answering questions, each other's questions, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. Sharing a bit of our garden with you.
Some of our, favourite things. Our biggest challenges, some of the risks we've taken in our garden. But we've still got a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've still got some amazing deals for you. The bare root roses that you can see over on the table over there, it is on a buy one, get one free. And it's a great time to buy bare roots. We're still in bare root planting season right the way through till February and March time. So it's a perfect time.
We've also got some amazing deals on bulbs. They're kind of clearance. They're $3.99. Not too late to plant. And we have got some really clever fruit trees that we call them duo fruit trees. So we're talking about two different varieties of pears, apples and cherries on a single tree.
I love it. Stu always says, whenever we talk about the duo fruit trees, he always says, witchcraft in our ear. They've been grafted onto the same rootstock where you can grow two varieties of pears, apples, cherries on the same rootstock, which is just, it's bizarre. It's a bit mind-blowing, isn't it?
Well, it's just great for smaller gardens.
Yeah,
to
really
actually
good.
get two, say, varieties in a small space is brilliant. It really is. But we have got a stunning free gift with every single order today. A real beauty. It's a bare root peony worth nearly £10, and it's a Sarah Bernhardt. And we did bring you this one earlier on in the year, and you loved it. And I'm not supposed to. She is the most beautiful peony, isn't she?
Absolutely. Named after a gorgeous actress. She was renowned for her beauty. I'm sure she was very skilled as an actress too.
She was.
But yeah, you can see why, because she is really, really beautiful. Loads and loads of layers of ruffled petals, a very, very pretty pink colour as well. And peonies they're kind of a classic, aren't they, in UK gardens? We adore them. The flowering season is relatively short, but so worth having.
And I think with the varieties and breeding of peonies now, they've got even more exotic and beautiful looking, and they do make a great cut flower as well. Now, you will get this as a bare root. All the instructions are on the packet as always, but we're just looking here. I call these the eyes, don't you?
Yeah. It's the eye of the bare root there, and that's actually the bit that's going to shoot for you. So there's a couple of stems on here. There's a couple of eyes that are going to shoot for you, but this is what they look like. They're pretty ugly, but they are going to turn into this really beautiful flower.
Yeah.
So you need to soak these just like you would any other bare roots. So this would probably just for a couple of hours, and then you can plant it. We would recommend actually planting it into a pot and allowing it to grow on a little bit and then planting it out, but you don't have to. They're fully winter hardy. If you want to plant it into the ground now, you absolutely can. The only reason we say that is because I think we've both probably done it at varying points, isn't it? We've planted a bare root and then accidentally dug it up and thrown it away.
So top tip today is just put a little stake or a little label by it so you know where it is. But we would expect you to maybe get a few peonies in 2025, but in year 2, year 3, you'll start to get dozens and dozens, and they are magnificent. Normally flowering kind of May time, and this particular variety is just breathtaking. But we're going to have a bit of fun today as well.
Yeah.
So, what's our first question?
Okay, so...
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah. We're going to start with this one, aren't we? What is the biggest risk that we took in our gardens this year?
Let me ask you. Go on.
Okay, well...
Biggest risk?
The biggest risk that I have taken, really, is I bought a puppy.
That is a big risk.
It is. I mean, he's beautiful. This is Jake. Welcome, Jake, to the family. He is my little baby. Look at him. He's such a cutie, honestly. But he is a bit of a risk because, obviously,
of course,
puppies and gardens and houseplants.
Yeah.
I have to... My other dog, obviously, I've spent for nearly 5 years training him and teaching him what he can dig, what he can't dig, what he's allowed to eat, what he's not allowed to eat. And now I have to do it all over again with the new puppy.
Aww.
So, yeah, he is quite risky. I didn't take a huge amount of risks in my garden this year, and it's something that I'm going to tell myself off for. I'm always about, trying something new and taking some risks. I didn't do loads this year, but a puppy certainly is a bit of a risk when it comes to looking after your garden.
Do you know, every time every time Bex shows us pictures, I mean, he is just so cute, isn't he?
He's such a beautiful boy. Oh,
let's just look at him.
So smug. Look at my.
I mean, he is
face.
just—he's like a little toy, isn't he?
I love him so much. Obviously, I still love Otis. Otis is still my baby, but Jake is my new baby. What about you? What's your biggest risk that you took in your garden this year?
So I did take quite a few risks in terms of planting new varieties and experimenting. But me and my other half, Joe, we did take I'd say a massive risk because we live in the country and a bit of the land behind us came up for sale.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
you bought it?
Well, we debated it for months and... we bought the piece of land behind us, and it's just like, what to do with it?
Is that it there?
That's it there,
so
yeah.
up to where you can see the hedge, is that right?
Yeah, so right, I mean, just that whole area,
one. Not the second one. Is it the second hedge?
Yeah, it's the second hedge, yeah.
That's massive!
I know.
Sean, that's huge.
I know!
What on earth are you going to do with it?
Don't panic
I thought
me.
it was to the first hedge,
No.
but no, it's to the second hedge.
No, it's like 2 acres.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do with that?
I don't know. You're going to come and help me.
I'll help. I'm there.
Do you know what?
I'm there.
We don't know, and I think it's like a lifelong project. You can't. It's something.
Wow.
But what we'd like to do, and we can't afford it, but we'd love to build a massive, huge pond. Huge,
like a lake.
Yeah, with lots of wildlife.
That would be nice.
Lots of raised beds with fruit and veg.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to do
a rose garden. I said to you about a rose garden. You should do a whole rose garden.
I was thinking of maybe just doing an area of just growing flowers, so for cut flowers and things.
You could have a lovely little wildflower section
That's what I was
as
thinking,
well. Proper wildflower section.
And maybe areas that we just don't mow with pathways.
Yeah, lovely.
So wild grasses. But it's going to take a long time. I mean, I'll be probably about 80 by the time it's finished. It is a risk, and we do. There's better things. Well, not better things, but we could have gone on a couple of really nice holidays. but it's exciting. It's exciting.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it was only to the first one.
No. But the older I get, do you know what? I'm hoping that as I get a bit older, I can spend more and more time in the garden. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay.
It will be, hopefully. So, any
you've
ideas?
Got a lot of space there, so you could do all of these ideas, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could do a pond, you could do a little allotment, you could do a rose garden, you could do a wildflower, because that's a lot of space.
Yeah. But if you've ever done anything like that next year, then I'd love to take your advice, because I've never built a pond before. Never. Not a big one, anyway.
I'll come out. I'll get my spade. I'll start digging. I like
digging
digging
holes. There's more space to grow YouGarden plants as well. That's what I'm thinking.
Perfect.
Yeah. Even if I just put loads of heavy-duty pots with plants in. Right. But we've got a great show. As you mentioned, free gift when you use that code is YGTV5224. That's your Sarah Bernhardt rose. Usual things apply. You get, I call it a rose. It's a peony.
Looks like a rose. A bit.
Yeah, we have got roses coming up there.
Yeah, they're coming.
But also, don't forget, free postage when you spend over £40. If you don't spend over £40, we cap the postage at $6.99. And all of you club members, you will get your 10% discount. Right, should we start with the roses, though?
Yeah, we should do,
yes.
Absolutely. We've got lots of roses to talk to you about. And the deal that we've got here is incredible, too, because this is a buy one, get one free. So all you've got to do is choose the 2 that you want. We've selected 5 for this show, but there is another 5 available on the website, and they are all in this offer as well. And of course, as a club member, you'll still get a 10% discount on there as well. And I'm not going to give you any more details other than in the new year, the club is getting even better. So if you're already a club member, brilliant. It's going to get even better. If you're not a club member yet, become one.
Yes.
It's going to get better.
Do it now, actually.
Do it now.
Definitely.
Definitely do it now.
And you'll know why we said that in a few weeks' time. Right. Should we start with New Dawn, the climbing rose?
Okay, yeah, love a climbing rose.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. And actually, we had an amazing picture, didn't we, from a viewer. Do you remember?
Was it Lisa?
Lisa and Michael, and they're just down the road from us here. And that is the New Dawn, growing over that beautiful archway, opening up into a pathway lined with lavender. What a wonderful walled garden they've got.
Oh, my word.
It
is.
A postcard picture, isn't it?
That's paradise, isn't it?
Love it.
I mean, what a stunning rose this is. And that really, hopefully, if you're thinking about getting a climbing rose, that will give you so much inspiration. And I'm not being very funny, but you can buy arches quite readily. You know, we sometimes have them on our website, but that is what your new dawn is going to look like in a couple of years' time. Amazing. And I have to say, this year, 2024, we've loved seeing all of your gardens, haven't we?
We're so nosy.
We really have. But you know, we all inspire each other, and we've had so many incredible images sent in. But that really stood out with the new dawn rose. So it's a stunning colour. This is kind of like shell pink, isn't it?
Shell pink, gorgeous, yeah. And it's an award-winning rose. It's got the RHS Award of Garden Merit. It won World's Favourite Rose in 1997. It's repeat flowering. It is disease resistant. It is professional quality. Bare root you're getting here. It's very easy to grow, and it comes to you from Harkness as well, who, as we all know here at YouGarden, they are an amazing company, the best when it comes to rose breeding, and multi-award winning themselves. Yeah,
25 gold medals have won at Chelsea, and they've been breeding roses meticulously for over 140 years. So they are, in our opinion, the very, very best. In fact, I was very lucky to go on their stand at Chelsea this year, and they've bred so many incredible award-winning roses.
Yeah.
And that is a stunner, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So look at all of these. There's something for everybody, isn't there?
I love it. And the climbing might be the one where you go for two of the same, because obviously if you've got an archway like that, you put one on either side and meet in the middle. Or maybe you want to go for two completely different ones. It's, you know, the choice is yours, and that's what I love about these sort of mix and match deals that we bring you.
Now, from a big climbing rose to something that's really compact. This is actually probably the most compact rose that we actually have, and it's called Raspberry Royale. It's a really small rose, this one, actually.
Yeah, only getting to about 2 feet height and spread here, whereas, you know, other kind of shrub and bush rose, they can get to, you know, at least 3, if not 4, 5 feet. I mean, what my Arthur Bell I've got, it's taller than me. It's crazy. So yeah, 2 feet height and spread here. Loads and loads of flowers.
So I actually saw, this is one that they did have on the Harkness stand, and they created like a mini hedge with it. So you imagine if you've got, you can even like just put a row of these in a border. And the lovely thing is they are covered in small roses. So they're not big roses, but you get hundreds and hundreds of them. And if you've got a smaller garden, or maybe just pots and containers, it is a brilliant one. I think it's the smallest rose we do. It's certainly one of them.
Absolutely.
But it's a beauty, really is. It's really pretty, very easy to look after, very easy to prune, of course, as well. But it is known as Raspberry Royale. I like that one a lot, actually.
And the next one we've got is the Remembrance Rose. So obviously, you know, this might have special meaning to a lot of people, but it's a beautiful bright red colour, which is what I really enjoy about this particular one. Roses to me are red. I don't know, it's just the first thing I think of when I think of a rose.
And that colour is basically that beautiful red, but it does obviously remind us of the Flanders poppy as well.
Indeed,
so it could be a very, very significant rose if you are buying it for, you know, something particular in your life. And a lovely, fragrance of this one as well, but stunning flowers, aren't they? That's a perfect red, isn't it?
Perfect red, absolutely. And of course, you know, buying a bare root means that what you're getting is just incredible value for money. Just think about this versus buying a potted rose. A potted rose, you're paying for the pot, you're paying for the compost, you're paying for the time that somebody's taken to grow them on. You don't have to pay for that with a bare root, so it's really cost effective. It's kind of a gardener's secret of getting the best out of your money. And if you can plant a potted rose, you can plant a bare root. There's just one additional step to planting a bare root, and that is to give it a drink, give it a soak. Soak it on some water before you plant it.
And it is amazing when you plant a bare root how quickly they do develop and grow. It says not difficult, but it just saves you so much money. And on this particular offer, it is a buy one get one free mix and match. So any of the 5 we've got here, and there are an additional 5 on our website as well. Now we have got the King Charles Coronation Rose as well, another really special one.
I love this one.
It's amazing.
I mean, obviously it was named for our current king, King Charles, and his coronation. But actually, I really like the formation of this rose. That is really beautiful. The ruffled, frilled, petalled edges that you've got on that rose, I think, is really quite stand out.
It's almost like somebody's taken some pinking shears and clipped all the petals to create this fabulous display. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. So listen, you know, it being the King Charles coronation rose, you might not be bothered about that at all. You might just absolutely adore how pretty and unusual that rose is. Or maybe you like both parts of it, the name and the fact that it's gorgeous. It's up to you.
And again, that could be one of the two that you go for in our mix and match. And then something totally different now.
Now, we've had loads of pictures on this one as well.
We have,
so
haven't we?
many of you, of our wonderful YouGarden TV viewers, have sent us pictures of the oranges and lemons. Ah, well done, Stu. This is Alison's picture.
Yeah. I mean, I love seeing real pictures of your real roses. And that's the same plant, but look how different the roses are. Every single rose on this plant is unique, and that's because there's a jumping gene in there.
That's it, yeah. So the jumping gene, I mean, it used to be, well, not a problem, but people were like, what is this? I wanted an orange rose and I've got a mixture of one. Actually, it's bred into these roses now. It's done on purpose because it gives them this really unique and incredible look. Sometimes you get more orange, sometimes you get more lemon, sometimes you get a perfect mix of the two things. But what you will get is that every single rose on your plant will be incredibly unique and different.
And I tell you what, that mixture of orange and lemon against that dark green foliage
it's good, isn't it?
It's absolutely breathtaking. So it's a really unusual rose, and I always think with a rose like that, because every single flower is different, I'd be waking up every morning just seeing what the next one looks like.
Yeah,
I really would.
Well, this is the great thing as well, because they repeat flowering and it just keeps giving you flowers, you know, all the way through. From, I mean, around May time to October is what we'll say is the standard sort of time you'll get roses. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later, depending on, you know, whatever weather we happen to get in the UK. But they do repeat flower and they will give you loads and loads of them. And you can cut them and bring them indoors as well if you like.
And as well as beautiful fragrances amongst these roses, they're all very disease resistant, they're easy to grow, they're easy to prune as well. Absolute winners, and so many of these have won awards as well. So remember, there is another 5 on the website, so there's 10 to choose from, and you will of course get your free gift today, that Sarah Bernhardt peony, which is worth £10. So that's a lovely start to. We've still got loads to share with you.
Loads to share, so many things.
And and still to come, we've got raspberries, we've got those dura fruit trees, we've got bulbs in the clearance.
Yeah, lots and lots of things to do.
And we've got some lovely winter flowering shrubs coming up as well.
We have, yeah.
But we're also having a bit of fun today. I hope we're not going to do any... on our other show that we put together for the festive season, we did have some random quiz questions, which I didn't like being thrown at me.
No, that's because you didn't get the answer right. It took you ages. Go and check out
True.
the other show, because we also showed our garden disasters, or should we say disappointment. So that was quite an interesting one. So it's available online. Go and have a little look, please.
But we're going to move on to our next question.
Yes.
Yes, this was a hard one.
All right, I'm going to ask you first.
Okay.
I'm asking him first. So, the first one is, whether we are growing them or not, what are our favourite plants from YouGarden that we've seen in the potting shed this year? So, you go first. What are your favourites?
Well, I'm going to say straight away, Verbena bonariensis.
Of course!
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I know I always talk about this one, but bought it, not this year, the year before last, from YouGarden, and it completely changed the whole look of one side of my garden. And if you've never grown it, I mean, there it is. It flowered all summer long. And that's it. My patio, I've got a very harsh patio at the back. Didn't know what to do with it. So I planted the Verbena bonariensis. Even in the first year, it flowered beautifully. In year 2, it got even taller. It did produce lots of little babies because it let itself seed. But I love the way that you can just look straight through it. I often call it the transparent plant. The pollinators absolutely worship this plant. So if you're trying to get more pollinators in your garden, it's one I would highly recommend. And I love the fact that the stems are very slight and slender, but they are self-supportive, so you never have to put any ugly stakes. But wherever you put this in your borders, just choose a sunny spot, well-drained soil, but it complements every other plant in your border.
Yeah, it really does.
Oh, it's lovely.
Such a good one. This was on my list, actually, of favourite plants. So
we did overlap a bit, didn't we?
We did overlap a little bit, but yeah, I'm glad you've chosen it. I mean, it looks amazing in your garden.
I think we should alternate with this one.
Shall we?
Is that all right, Stu?
All right,
what's your next favourite then?
I've got a whole going big list.
We could be here a while.
I got a big list. All right, I'm going to start off with Aces.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows me, anybody who's been watching YGTV, you know that I am a big Acer fan, and I love them all. So I think that one's called Orange Dream.
Yes,
I know
it
it's
is.
quite limey at the moment.
But I can see little bits of orange.
Absolutely, it goes through lovely shades. And actually, I really like this picture because it's in a pot there. But can you see next to it is the Calicarpa when it was in leaf. The Calicarpa Fusion Berry, the one that's got the purple berries on, that's on the left. And just down the right there is one of my other favourite plants, which is the Fatsia,
I was going to say.
spider's web. That's also on my list as well. But yeah, I love Acers. I love the kind of zen quality that they bring. The Fatsia, yeah, I planted this earlier on in the year, and that's it in bloom with the flowers on there. It's still small at the moment because it's going to take a little bit of time. There's one of... OK, so that is my oldest Acer. That's the one that I've had... how long? That was the start of the obsession, absolutely. I don't even know how old that is now. I've probably had that for 15 years.
Have you?
Probably, yeah. And I love it.
It's a lovely colour, isn't it?
It really good. Oh, the red colour on it is amazing. And you do get these shades, these different shades of colour that happen throughout the year with Acers, which is what I love.
And I tell you what, I love the castor oil plant as well. Spider's web. That looked lovely, didn't it? See, we're going to be here a long time. There's so many festive. I mean, YouGarden stocked thousands of plants.
Go on then, give us another one.
Oh, God. So many to choose from. I'll tell you one that I gave no attention to at all.
Yeah.
But I meant to prune it back in sort of like March, April. I never did. And do you know, it had no attention, but it flowered all summer long. It's the Salvia Hot Lips.
Oh, OK.
And I did nothing to... I mean, look, that area of the garden could be neater and tidier, but that was covered in flowers for about 6 months.
Yeah.
So I love it. And it's made me think, and this is some advice I'd give everybody. If you ever find a plant that does well in your garden, then it's often worth just buying some more, maybe slightly different colour. I might buy some, so we do like a couple of other salvias, different colours, got a lovely purple one, a lovely sort of like pinkish one. But for some reason, that salvia just loves it there. So I'm thinking of putting another couple behind it.
Yeah, nice.
But I mean, it wasn't the most striking plant, but it just was covered in lovely flowers.
It's a hard-working plant, though, isn't it? And a really easy one. So.
And fast-growing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another favourite. So surprise favourite.
Mine is Merlot, Euphorbia.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I can't let this favourite go without talking about the Euphorbia minus Merlot. I mean, there was the other Euphorbia we did as well. Can't remember the name of that one. But the minus Merlot in particular... absolutely adored. And Stu's like, I know this is your favourite because you've sent me like 6 million photos and videos of this. I mean, this is it on a bright sunny day with those lovely lime greeny coloured flowers just appearing there. What I really like about this series of photos and things that I've sent to Stu is that you can see the changing colours that you get on this. It's amazing. And I mean, look, that's the same plant. That is the same plant.
Do you know?
And yeah, this is what I really like about this.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how much the ladybirds love it. The ladybirds adore this plant. It's a great one because ladybirds are brilliant at keeping down, like, you know, the bugs and things that can destroy your plants.
Do you know
Where's the flowers
because
on it?
It looks lovely even without the flowers, but when it flowers, the contrast of the yellow and the burgundy dark leaves. It's amazing, that one, isn't it?
Really enjoyed the Euphorbia minus Merlot.
Cool.
Just loved it.
We said we'd talk about favourites, some that we own and have bought, some that we haven't. So one of the ones that's on my list is the standard viburnums.
Oh, OK, very nice. Yeah.
We've had them on a few shows, and we
had them on recently, actually, didn't we?
And I'm still planning on having them in one of my borders because they're just so fragrant. They're evergreen.
Yeah.
And the flowers. I mean, we've seen them on the nursery, and they flower from sort of like November, December, right through to March.
Yeah.
So that's one that I've got on my list.
Fragrance from them is really nice too.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it fills it. I mean, we're having them in the potting shed. It literally fills it. So that's one that I've got on my list. Go on, you next.
OK, I'm going to go with my Prunus triloba, if that's OK. So cherry blossom time is a fantastic time of year. And, yeah, I got the Prunus triloba and I adored this one. I did talk about the fact that I was going to get this for my friends for their wedding, didn't I? And I didn't do it in the end. I bought them the Acer collection in the end.
Well,
yeah, fine. But yeah, I've got this in my garden. It's bare at the moment, obviously, because it's deciduous. It drops all its leaves. But that is it in springtime earlier on this year, and you get those lovely flowers that appear just before the leaves appear, and it is incredible. And it's got that lovely kind of, it's like a firework explosion with the way that it grows.
They're a lovely shape, aren't they?
Really beautiful shape, and I just love anything that's cherry blossom. It's really pretty.
Well, another my absolute favourites in my garden. I've got a whole area that's it's quite difficult. It's fairly shady, and I've filled it with predominantly ferns, and I've got a few nandinas in there.
Oh, what, like this one?
Just like this. Do you know what? I mean, look, I didn't even see that there. How could I miss it? And I can honestly say that I have this side of the garden. It's a little bit overgrown. The Pearl Nandina has got a little bit sort of overshadowed. So I've got my Fatsia in the back there.
Nice, yeah.
But look at, I mean, I am gonna move the Nandina, but there's another one there. So it's had very little light and love this year. The ferns have kind of taken over, and I love ferns as well. They're one of my other favourites from YouGarden. There's amazing ones this year. But I think it just goes to show how brilliant nandinas are in terms of they tolerate sun, shade, everything in between, different soil types. They don't need much care and attention at all.
Yeah.
Because that side, I'll be honest, it's a bit overgrown. That's stuck there at the back. But look how good it looks. And I only took that, and when my Christmas jump, I took that like literally 2 days ago. Yeah,
I love them, and it's on my list as well. That's why I brought this into the potting shed. I adore Nandina, particularly the Firepower. We've got a few different varieties, but Firepower for me is the one.
Look at this.
And you can really see why. At this time of the year, you've got this gorgeous flame red, bright colour from it, but you get the varying shades that happen on this all the way throughout the year, and that's why I love it so much. Really low maintenance, very easy to look after, and of course, once it gets matured, you will get flowers and berries on this as well. Yeah. So it's a winner all round. I'm not surprised it's on both of our favourites list.
When we came in today, we were like, which favourites have you picked? And yeah, we thought we'd have loads that crossed over. Now, I know we could be here all day with our favourites, because we've actually got a really long list, but we better just choose one final one each.
OK, I'm going to go with my Corydalis, the blue heron.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, this is it when it was a baby plant. I've actually dug it up from there now, and I put it into a pot with the other. I had 3. I lost 1, so I put 2 in the same pot together. So I'm really looking forward to bringing it in, and I'll bring it into the potting shed next year when it's in full bloom and everything. I'll bring it in, but I'll get more pictures. Love it though. It's quite petite, doesn't get massive. I'm only talking maybe about 25 centimetres in height, spread by about 30 centimetres, so it's not a huge plant, but it is incredible. And what I have been blown away with this year is to discover that it's incredibly fragrant as well.
Yeah, you don't even realise it because they're low to the ground, but when you get close to them...
Now that I've dug it up and put it in a pot, I actually have discovered that it has a beautiful fragrance as well.
So, and that colour, that blue, is it's like electric, isn't it?
Oh, and there's my choicea as well. Oh, there's so many. And I've got blueberries on my list as well. But yes, this is choicea. I love choicea. Every garden should have a choicea. Every single garden should have one. The fragrance you get from them is incredible, really low maintenance. It's just the perfect border plant. It grows in a really nice, neat shape. You can see my Bowls Mauve growing down the bottom there. That is my... Oh, and Bowls Mauve, that's my other one. Oh, that should have been right up near the top. Bowls Mauve. This one flowers constantly. It's still in bloom right now. I've done a whole series of these where you can see it in bloom all the way through the year.
I mean...
It never seems to give up. It just keeps flowering
I think
constantly.
Both of us, we've because it's been, let's be honest, it's been a slightly challenging year, garden-wise.
Yeah.
It's not been the easiest of years, but we've really realised there are certain plants, like the Bowls Mauve, like the Nandina, no matter what the weather's like, no matter what nature throws at us, they are true survivors.
Yeah.
And my final plant that I'm going to put at number 1 in my list, and I know you're going to echo me on this one, geranium roseanne.
Yes, this is on my list too.
I mean, seriously, every week we've sort of we always talk about what's looking good in the garden, and this, a bit like Wham! Last Christmas, number 1 yet again this year, geranium roseanne. And do you know what? This is a plant that flowers non-stop all summer long. Starts in kind of like May time. We're still flowering until the frost's in the end of November. and it is the easiest plant to look after. It is Geranium Roseanne. Well, this is geranium in my garden, and there's 2 plants here, and I planted them almost 3 years ago. They were in 2-litre pots, I remember, and they've just gone absolutely crazy, and they're beautiful. And I'll be honest, this summer, I haven't fed them yet, I haven't deadheaded, I haven't trimmed them, I've just let them do their own thing. And what is so lovely, the colour is amazing. So from the top of the garden, you see this just mass of mauve. They, for me, are just such a wonderful plant, and I can see why they won Plant of the Centenary at Chelsea. And what that basically means is, in 1913, Chelsea was celebrating its 100th year, and this plant was chosen to be the best plant over that 100 years. So absolutely incredible. Now, in the wintertime, it will die down, and what I'm going to do in spring, I'm going to separate them a bit because they've gone a bit wild here. I might even divide them as well, because you can divide them. But for the time being, for the rest of this summer, I'm just going to leave them because they look absolutely glorious. The pollinators love them as well. And the amount of colour you get, I mean, there's hundreds of flowers there, and these have looked this good for the last several months. It's an amazing plant, and one I'd highly recommend in any garden. And I know, Bex, yours was exactly the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The only thing you need to do is plant some Erigeron in there.
Oh, no, yes.
Amongst the Geranium Roseanne. It'll work its way through, and the combination of those 2 plants together is perfect.
And that plant, by the way, won Plant of the Centenary at Chelsea when they celebrated their 100th year in 2013. So you imagine all the plants that we've seen at Chelsea.
I know. That must have been an amazing competition.
Yeah, but that was another one. So that is another one that both of us would highly recommend, and you will see a lot more of Geranium Roseanne and a lot of its cousins in 2025. Now, one of the things that I love about YouGarden, that they're unique varieties of all sorts, but including fruit trees as well. And I know when I grew up, everyone had a big garden, didn't they?
Yeah,
not everyone, but people had bigger gardens and long gardens. And I know my nan used to have, like, the front garden was all flowers, the back garden was all fruit and veg.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of people did have their own section, didn't they, for fruit and veg, but now that's impossible. So what YouGarden have got are certain breeds of fruits and vegetables that will suit every single garden, and these are duo fruit trees that produce 2 different types of fruit on the same tree, and you can actually grow these in our heavy duty pots. So we're starting with the apple.
Yeah.
So one side is Bramley, the nation's favourite cooking, and then the other one, the nation's favourite eating apple, Braeburn.
I know.
On one tree.
And you think,
wow,
well, how have we been able to do that? And it's all to do with the grafting process. So they've been double grafted onto what we call a miniature rootstock. So I'm holding the pear one at the moment, but they're all exactly the same. You can see the grafting points where these have happened. So you've got the Braeburn apple on one side and the Bramley apple on the other side, and it's been grafted onto this miniature rootstock. It just blows your mind that they can do that. But the whole point of this is for smaller spaces.
Yeah.
Definitely, that was where this came from, for smaller gardens, so that you can still have both varieties, but you're basically saving that space in the garden. The fact that you can actually grow these in pots as well. So even if you don't own the property that you live in and you want to grow something, you can grow this in our heavy duty pots. They're never going to get too tall. You can always pick the pot up and take it with you if you move house. I love it. It's a great idea.
And you know, I was just thinking that when you've got a full-size fruit tree, quite often you just get too much fruit all at once, and a lot of it gets wasted.
True.
But these are more compact. They're still very heavy croppers, but to get 2 varieties on one single tree, your favourite cooking apple, so apple pies and apple sauce, and then your favourite eating apple, amazing. We have also got the details on the screen for the pear tree as well, which is the next one, and we've got the cherry as well. The pear, you've got Concord pear and Conference.
Yep.
And then the cherry
is the Sunburst and Stella. So Stella tends to be a little bit sweeter, but you've got the 2 different varieties on there as well. You just got to choose which one you want to go for. It might be you want to get, I mean, you could get all 3 of these. Get 3 pack of our heavy duty pots, and you could grow these on a patio or a balcony. Somewhere nice and sunny, but you could plant these all out. And
what is nice about the duo cherry tree is that the Sunburst actually comes out slightly earlier than the Stella.
True, yes.
So you've got a longer fruiting
cropping season.
So they really make sense. very easy to plant, give them a good soak overnight, choose a nice sunny spot. They can go straight in the ground, but we really recommend growing these in our heavy duty pots as well. 300-065.
All right, we're going to have a little bit of fun next. So if you've watched the other pre-recorded show that we've done for you during this festive season, you'll know that we're doing these funny little games and word searches and clues and things. Shaun wasn't very good at the last one.
Hang on, I got it right. I was just slightly slower.
Took him ages, it did.
Do you know what? If it was a maths one. Right, okay, so what's this one, Stu?
Make a word using every letter.
Including the K.
You can only use each letter once, but you've got to make a word using that, and it's a gardening word.
Oh, okay.
This is hard. It's a gardening word. You've got to use every letter and only once. Pick. Put it back up. I can't.
I want to see that again.
Ring. Got it!
I haven't. We've discovered Bex is better with letters. I'm definitely better with numbers. That's good.
Do you know what, I have so my screen husband, I have this with my other husband, I have this as well. I am the words, he is the pictures. Yeah. So here I'm the words, you're the numbers.
I'm nowhere near that one yet. But I can tell you can buy 3 fruit trees for $59.97. Anyway, I still can't get that. Oh, the heavy duty pots.
Yeah.
Now these work out £4.33 each.
Yes, see, I wouldn't have been able to.
I can get them straight away. 12.99 divided by 3 is £4.33. I absolutely love these. And this was a clip of film we did at my house in the summer. I mean, this wasn't staged. We didn't bring lots of pots to film. These were, I mean, you can tell these pots, I've got them everywhere. Some of mine are 15 years old. The Christmas trees are now at the front of my house, all nicely decorated. Tomatoes, they grow brilliantly here. Did you do potatoes this year?
I didn't do them this year, but I have done potatoes in them. I've got my blueberries growing in them. I've got my Prunus triloba growing in there. I've got a cordyline in there. I've got a rose in there. This is the temporary home for your euonymus that's actually become a permanent home. It just doesn't move, does it?
Sometimes I have to garden really quickly because I look after a few gardens. So I actually decant my professional compost in the heavy duty pot, and it just makes it so much quicker than just putting your hand in the bag. Makes it really easy. And if you are buying the Geo fruit trees, they would be very happy in there for many, many years. But we sometimes try and break one of these. Can we have a go now?
Yeah, let's do it.
How strong are you feeling?
Be careful.
I've got a bit of Christmas weight on this, so let's see. Do you know what? You cannot break them, can you? You really can't.
We're going for it, aren't we?
I know, really going for it.
Slightly, but it doesn't break.
Look at that.
The handles don't come off.
It was the year of rain, 2024, wasn't it? And most plants hate being waterlogged. Not all, but most plants hate being waterlogged. It rots the roots. Great drainage in here because you get extra drainage at the side and underneath. That makes such a difference.
Massive
Huge
difference. Yeah, absolutely.
Because not being funny, when you put a pot on a flat surface, even if it's got holes in the bottom, sometimes if it's really wet, that water doesn't get away fast enough. That allows it to drain perfectly. They're brilliant, and to say they are only $12.99, $4.33 each. If you're our club member, you will get your 10% discount as well, which would make it £3.90 each.
Still haven't got that word, have you?
Hey?
You might need some compost.
But my maths is good.
You might need some compost to go with those, though. And what we've got for you is the 2 50-litre bags, 100 litres in total. It is our premium professional compost. It's the compost that we use here at the nursery. It's the compost that we all use at home as well.
And remember, even if you're just buying compost today, because I mean, as we head into New Year, you will be, no doubt, planting seeds, growing up plug plants, putting in some new perennials, planting your bare roots. This is the perfect compost for all of that, and maybe even repotting your house plants as well. We won't go too much into the formulation. I'm sure many of you already buy this compost, but actually, if you work out the value today, with your free gift being worth £10, you were getting it for the best part of £18. If you
You are
the value
indeed,
of the free gift.
Yeah, and it's incredible. I mean, it's great value for money, but it's incredible compost, and that's the thing that's important to get across. It's packed with amazing ingredients. It's got a fantastic texture, which allows for really healthy root structure and development. And please don't think any old compost will do. It really won't. This is the best compost. It is important to get the best. You want to feed your plants with the best ingredients, just like we want to feed ourselves with the best ingredients.
And if you are making any New Year's resolutions, maybe just decide to make your New Year's resolution to give your plants the best home, the best environments.
Yeah.
It will honestly make you a better gardener instantly. So we don't claim to be the cheapest, but we do claim to be the best. And actually, with your free gift, the Sarah Bernhardt Bare Root Peony, it does work out amazing value today. Love this compost. We say we both. I was going to say we live
in it.
No, well, we love smelling it. We love touching it,
I
but
do.
we love growing in it, of course, as well.
Absolutely.
It's a brilliant compost, and it's what we grow everything in it here at YouGarden.
Should we do some grow your own? Some more grow your own.
Right. Well, I would love to talk about the raspberries because I'm
Yes.
thinking of buying these this year.
Yeah, do you
I haven't
know
got
what?
raspberries.
This is a great idea. I love the idea of growing raspberries, but these are brilliant because this is the autumn bliss. And there's some really awesome benefits to growing these particular raspberries rather than others, aren't there? First one is they're really compact. So raspberry canes, they can get to like 2.5, 3 metres in height, can't they? But these ones are nice and compact. They're only going to get to about 1.5 metres.
So again, that does mean you can actually grow these canes in one of the heavy-duty pots as well. I'd probably put maybe 3 canes in a pot,
Yeah, I think you'd be all right with that.
and I'd tie them together. So you put I'd put them together like a little teepee.
Yeah, that would work.
But I'm impatient, Bex. I want raspberries in 2025.
Well, this is the great thing here because you've got primocane and floricane varieties. Now, this one's a primocane variety, which means it will fruit on this year's growth, whereas the other varieties, they fruit on last year's growth, which makes it really not massively,
Not complicated, but
it just adds a layer of complication to it when you're looking at pruning and which way. If you get it wrong, you can end up pruning the wrong one, and then you've got to wait another year.
yeah, so you'd
until you
actually
get
have
them.
like a 2-year gap.
Exactly. Whereas this one, you don't need to worry at all. On this year's growth, you'll get fruit, and then at the end of the season, you just prune it right back, and then you'll do it all again
So you
next year.
don't have to
It's
think about it.
really simple.
And I was just thinking about raspberries because they are. We love our raspberries, don't we? But they're a very expensive fruit to buy in the supermarkets.
Yeah, and they go off very quickly.
They really do.
They do.
Overnight,
Yeah.
sometimes, literally. And you think about every time you buy raspberries in the supermarket, 9 times out of 10 they come in a plastic punnet. They've been transported across the country or maybe even across the world. So to grow your own is so much more environmentally friendly, but it's also a lot more friendly on your pocket as well. And I love the fact, and this is why I'm thinking of buying these genuinely, I love the fact that they are going to fruit in 2025. I love the fact that in November time, after the fruit is, you can just chop them right back, and then the next year you're going to get loads more raspberries on the new growth. Also, I'm laughing because Stu's going to give me another look at this quiz, right? Right, let's have a little look. Do you know the answer at home? Right. Ooh, God.
Yeah, I've definitely got it.
I think I've got it. I've got it. Sprinkler?
Yay!
Yay! Go. You're quick at them.
I'm words, your numbers.
Yeah.
We've all got our strengths, Sean.
Yes. Yeah, we'd be great on countdown.
It'd be amazing on countdown.
Do they ever do it as teams?
Not unless you do
Right.
the 8 out of 10 cats countdown, the one in the evening.
Yeah.
We're not famous enough for
No,
that.
but if anyone's watching from Countdown, producer or anything, if you can, we'd love to do it as a team.
we could do it as a team.
We'd be awesome.
It'd be great on there.
I must admit,
Or Jimmy Carr, if you're watching.
I must admit, whenever I watched Countdown, I was always really good at the numbers.
I used to love watching Countdown.
But you'd be good at the words.
Me and my dad used to sit there and do that. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Anyway, but if you have just joined us, by the way, this is a really special festive show. we've got a great show, but also we're going to be chatting about our own gardens, showing you some pictures, and just really reflecting back on 2024, but also looking forward to 2025. We've got a great year planned with YouGarden. And next, because YouGarden also have a fantastic range of houseplants, we're going to be talking about our favourite houseplants as well. But let's remind you of the bare root roses. So we've got 10 of these on our website. You can mix and match any two for £19.99. So this was New Dawn. It was Lisa that sent this picture in from Spalding. This is a lovely kind of shell pink climbing rose. It is one of the most beautiful roses that you can imagine. It is a climber, so completely covering that archway and giving you roses all summer long. But it's a really beautiful variety in terms of colour and fragrance, that one. Called New Dawn 530075 and was given the accolade of Rose of the Year in 1997. Then a Remembrance Rose. This is a beauty. I think the colour is reminiscent of obviously the poppy. It's a rose that could be so significant in so many ways with it being named Remembrance. And again, repeat flowering, beautiful shaped rose, 540076. Then the most compact rose that we have is actually one known as Raspberry Royale. So you get lots of really wonderful smaller roses, like hundreds in a season on this one, but it only grows to about 60 by 60 centimetres. So it's great for pots and containers, great for small gardens. I have seen this is a Harkness rose, and I've seen it on their stand, and they created like a mini hedge with it. Beautiful, really beautiful, 540074. Then we have got King Charles, another very special rose, the King Charles coronation, to, of course, celebrate the fabulous coronation that recently took place. And this one looks like it's almost been... I phrased it as being cut with some pinking shears because the edges are beautiful, aren't they? It gives it a really kind of frilly, ruffled look, a little bit peony-esque, this one actually, and that is 540242. And then finally, we have got the rose oranges and lemons, which is a really striking rose. This is one of those that has been bred to have, they call it a jumping gene, so every single rose is unique. So some will be more orange, some will be more yellow, and I just love the idea that whenever you wake up and you go out in the garden and a rose has opened, you never know quite what it's going to look like. It's a real beauty. It's a very striking rose, that one, and something really, really different. 530242. Then we had the duo fruits, didn't we, Bex?
We did indeed, and you've got some options here, so it just depends what you want to go for. This one's the apple, so you're growing both varieties, the Bramley and the Braeburn, on one tree. I know, it's weird. But what's happened is that they've been grafted onto a miniature rootstock, so you can grow both varieties in one pot. So, do you want apples, the Bramley and the Braeburn? Or would you like pears, where you've got the Conference and the Concord, both growing on the same plant, remember, which can be grown in a pot on your patio. The miniature rootstock means they're not going to get too tall at all. And the final choice you've got is the cherry, where you've got two varieties. You've got the Sunburst and you've got the Stella available on there as well. I mean, particularly amazing when you think about cherries, because cherry trees just get ridiculously tall. These are only ever going to get to about 2.5 metres in height. Perfect for smaller spaces, perfect for growing in pots on your patio as well.
And when you think you're going to get kilos and kilos of cherries, they're going to save you hundreds of pounds. Hey, and something we've got to mention, all of those fruit trees are going to produce beautiful blossom, of course, as well.
And you know, pretty.
Yeah. But I know some of you might be thinking, how easy is it to plant a bare root? Well, Bex, you filmed this recently.
I did.
And it didn't take long because it's that easy. Have a look at this.
Here at YouGarden, we provide lots of bare root fruit trees. We've got all the classics. We've got the apples, we've got the pears, we've got the plums, but we've also got those soft fruit varieties as well. We've got sweet cherries, we've got peaches, we've got apricots. But for a real talking point, what about our duo fruit trees, where you can grow two varieties on one tree? They're so easy to plant as well. This is your bare root. Now, the reason to have bare roots and to buy bare roots is because it's incredibly cost effective. It's really cost effective for us to send these in the post, which ultimately makes it really cost effective for you as a gardener. Now, one of the great benefits of these bare root trees is that they never get too big. Which means if you've got a smaller garden, you can grow these. You don't need acres of land. You can even grow these in a pot on a patio if you want to. It also means you can pretty much always reach those fruits from standing height without having to get onto ladders. The reason they don't get too big is because they have been grafted onto what we call this miniature rootstock. That restricts the height of the plant, meaning that we can grow them in those smaller spaces. We can always reach the fruits. And if we need to, we can net the top to stop the birds getting at them. Now, this is how your bare root fruit tree is going to arrive. The roots will be wrapped. That just helps to keep them moist. Once you get hold of it, what you need to do is unwrap those roots, and then you're left with this root ball here. In order to plant your bare root fruit tree, all you need to do is put this into a bucket of water to soak overnight, give it a really good drink, and then you're ready to plant. We recommend, first of all, our heavy-duty pots, if you're not putting these into the ground, and, of course, our premium professional compost, because it's filled with so much goodness, your trees will adore it. Once you've got it planted, whether it's in the ground or in a pot, all that's left to do is to give it a really good drink. Keep it well watered. In springtime, you will start seeing all of that beautiful blossom appear. And then, of course, your fruits will start to come. Within a couple of years, you'll start getting really good crops. And, of course, you'll get them for decades to come.
See, it really is that easy. And I was just thinking,
simple.
When you buy a fruit tree that's already planted in a pot, you can be nowadays talking £50–60.
Yeah,
absolutely. You really can. And
when the process is that simple...
Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the trouble is, when it's grown in a pot as well, even if you buy a fruit tree from us that's pot grown, it costs a lot more because obviously you've got all the weight, the delivery, all the time that it's taken. Whereas if you just buy a bare root, buy some of our heavy duty pots, and some of our compost, you can do it all yourself, save a fortune. And there is a level of satisfaction,
I was just thinking that. There's a sense of achievement, isn't there? A little bit of satisfaction that you've done it yourself.
Yeah.
And then you can feel, real pride when you start seeing the growth coming, the blossom forming, and then the fruits appearing. It's exciting.
And we always say, you may get a bit of fruit in the first year, but give it 2–3 years, and then you start getting kilos and kilos.
Yeah.
And you'll have that for many years, if not decades. Don't forget, if you do want the heavy duty pots, £12.99 for 3, which works out. Do you remember, Bex? You know this one.
£4.33 each.
Yes. Well done. And if you're a club member,
less than that.
Yeah. You get 10% off that. Right. We are also having a bit of fun today, and we've been just talking about our own gardening experiences, what we love, what we've done in 2024, and something that you might not realise, but YouGarden have got a fantastic range of houseplants. There's a whole greenhouse full of amazing houseplants.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been watching the TikTok shows that we do as well, because we do those in the afternoons on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sunday afternoons, and if you're interested, please come and join us on TikTok on those. But on a Sunday afternoon, we often do that live broadcast from the houseplant habitats, the green.
And it is fun because, I mean, you get to see hundreds and hundreds of plants, and when you see them all en masse, the amount of different varieties and foliage and colours, it is incredible. And then what I'm really pleased about, a lot of my younger friends are really getting into houseplants.
Yeah.
I think they know how great they are in terms of helping to purify and clean the air, but also that feeling of well-being when surrounded by houseplants, because you might not have a garden, or you might only have a small garden, and actually in the winter you might not want to go out in your garden, but when you've got houseplants around you, it's a lovely feeling, isn't it?
It is a very, very lovely feeling, and do you know what, I think houseplants sometimes have had a bad rap, basically, a bad rep for being difficult to look after, and do you know what, actually, there's some really easy houseplants out there. Easy.
Do you know what I think the problem is as well? Sometimes when you buy, I shouldn't really say this, but a lot of the garden centres, not all, but a lot of the garden centres, and particularly supermarkets, they haven't got a clue how to look after houseplants.
No, it's true.
They'll have them. I mean, there's a certain supermarket, and all the houseplants are by the doors. So every time the doors are open, they're getting a constant change in temperature, which a lot of houseplants don't like. Yeah. So by the time you get it home, it's been so stressed out the previous week that it's on its last legs. You don't realise it, but you put it somewhere else, and it's sort of like...
And now it's really stressed out. I mean, one thing that we do say about houseplants is that they like consistent temperatures. Yeah. So that is probably the worst place.
And ours are climate controlled in our greenhouse, so they've been kept beautifully before they arrive to you. Right, so Bex, what is your current favourite houseplant?
It's really hard because I've got lots of... I've got so many houseplants in my house and I absolutely adore them. But I have picked one in particular. This isn't the one it's not mine from home. This is one that I've brought out of the houseplant habitat in the YouGarden nursery. It is available right now if you would like to get hold of it. It is called Calathea and it is called Medallion. We've actually got a few different varieties of Calathea, but I do love Calathea because, I mean, look at that.
I know.
Look at those leaves. They are incredible, the patterns you've got on there, but then I really like these burgundy undersides that you've got underneath here. I think they're very flamboyant, I think they're very beautiful. Now, the reason I've gone for this one in particular is it's not the easiest houseplant to look after. She's a diva, is what I say about Calathea Medallion. But what I've really enjoyed is the fact that I've had to go through this process of learning what my medallion wants, what she needs. She doesn't just curl up and die if you get it wrong, but she does tell you. She does tell you, and she is a she. She does tell you if you get it wrong, and I've enjoyed that. I feel like I've learnt something, and that's why it's my favourite houseplant. I've got others I could say that are dead simple, that I love because of their beauty, because of their elegance, but the reason I'm going for this as my favourite is because I've learnt the most from owning this plant.
Well, I found it difficult to choose as well. I really did. So I've just sent in Stu a little picture of a few of mine grouped together.
Oh, have you done my trick? Rather than choosing one, you've chosen them all.
So
you've got your medallion in
I have got the medallion there. There's another Calathea, but in the back I've got like a little spider plant. You can just see.
Sorry, I know we're supposed to be looking at plants, but
do you know
I just want to squeeze your cheeks.
When you hold a camera, there's a little trick at home. Hold the camera in the air, and you always look younger.
Yeah.
I've got Justina at the back.
Yeah.
And there's a little monstera you can just see right behind the Calathea. But I couldn't pick a favourite. But I just love it when you've got houseplants grouped together. There's actually a bird of paradise at the very back right.
Ooh, nice.
But I love all houseplants. I couldn't pick a favourite, and I thought if my houseplants are watching, because they listen, because I talk to them, they listen, they'd be annoyed and upset if I didn't mention them. But all I wanted to say is, get more houseplants in your home. Yeah. They do make a home feel amazing. They make a house a home, I think.
It's amazing. So I've always had houseplants, but not loads and loads, and I've gradually been increasing that number. And it's amazing actually how my kids have really noticed.
Yeah,
and have started
even
commenting on it. And now, I mean, my eldest son came to me the other day because I've actually piled a load of plants because they used to be sort of dotted all around the house, but now I've put a load into the bathroom. I've moved them, so they're all sort of concentrated in one area at the moment. And now, because I put them all in the bathroom, my son, my eldest, has come through going, Mum, Mum. He does, he's got quite a deep voice now. Mum, I really like what you've done in the bathroom. He doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
He was like, I really like what you've done in the bathroom. It feels very jungly in there. Can we do that in my room, please? So now he wants loads of houseplants in his bedroom as well. So I quite like that.
I think it's just so lovely that so many young people are getting into houseplants, but don't think, oh, I'm no good. Some of my gardening friends in my gardening club, they're like, oh, I'm no good with houseplants. We have got houseplants for every room in the home. Some are super easy to look after. There's nothing that's too difficult. But they are a joy, particularly in the winter months as well, when you can't get out as much. It's so nice to come home. even when it's dark at 4, half 4 in the evening, to come home and then just see your beautiful houseplants, it is a joy. But yeah, I'm with you. The Calathea, that particular one is lovely. The medallion.
Yeah.
Right. If you have just joined us, by the way, thank you so much. This is a little festive show. Few reminders. There is always an offer code on the YGTV shows. This week's offer code is YGTV5224, and you get a really good free gift this week.
Amazing.
Like a really good one.
Yeah, it's this beautiful Sarah Bernhardt peony. It comes to you as a bare root, so you do need to plant it relatively soon. You can't just leave it sat in the bag for ages. But this will create the most beautiful peony flowers, and they really are very floriferous, petalicious as we would call them, named after a gorgeous, beautiful French actress, I think she was.
She was.
Yes, and it is a beautiful peony. And it's worth a tenner, basically. It's $9.99, and we've been selling this. You have been buying this in the past. But it's a free gift for you as long as you use that code. You just have to put the offer code in. Unlocks all your deals, gives you free postage if your order is over £40, but also puts that free gift into your basket as well.
And don't forget, some of you, I mean, a lot of you are really clever in terms of placing an order. If you place separate orders, say if you want to buy compost separately, because that's got postage included, if you bought that separately, you would get a free gift with your compost. But if you, say, place several orders, you will get several of those peonies.
Indeed, yeah.
Right, now we have got a deal of the week for you right now, and it is the most fragrant winter plant you could ever imagine.
This should have been on our favourites list, actually. Now I'm looking at it. I should have put this on my favourites list.
I didn't put it on because I thought you would.
You thought I would?
Yeah.
No, it definitely should have been on my favourites list. I can't believe I didn't put it on.
I honestly, because I tried to pick ones that Bex, I thought, I'm
annoyed at myself now.
Well, do you know what we can say right now? It's one of our joint favourites, because it really is. We've both got this one. Stu, have you got this one? No, it doesn't have this one.
Have this one.
It's known as Sakukoka Winter Gem. I know it as Christmas box.
Yeah, which is how it was introduced to me when I first discovered it. My mum, I was trying to find out the name, and my mum said, I think it's called Christmas box or sweet box.
Sweet box, yes.
So I didn't know the original name when I first discovered this plant, but I adore it. I think it's got so many attributes that will fit into so many people's gardens. It's evergreen, first of all. We all need a bit of evergreen in our gardens. We've all got way too many deciduous plants. Gardens look bare, don't they, in winter? Even if you've got the best garden, even if you're the best gardener, it does look a little bit more bare in winter. Mix in some of these evergreens, because for me, I've got loads of aces in my garden. So, of course, they're very twiggy in winter. Mix in some evergreen.
It does make such a difference, and I think when you are planning borders, you do have to bear in mind what looks good when, and this looks good all year round because of that lovely foliage, but in the winter time when this bursts into flower, the fragrance is just outstanding. And when this gets big enough, I mean, I'll be honest, they're really quite slow growing, so they're not going to overtake your garden. But when it does get big enough, and you can just maybe chop off a couple of stems and bring them inside, literally just 1 or 2 pieces of that will fill a room with fragrance.
They will. It's a really powerful, strong fragrance. It's a sweet fragrance. It's a vanilla, which is why it's called sweet box, Christmas box, because obviously it's in flower sort of around Christmas time. Really incredibly fragrant. And what I adore about this is the fact that it is tolerant of a full sun position, but it's also tolerant of living in a shady position as well.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and we're talking pretty much full shade.
Yeah, it can cope with both.
Yeah.
And it's slow growing. I mean, there's so many reasons to go for this.
I think it's just one of those incredible plants. And what surprises me is not everybody seems to know this one.
And it's one that should be right up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
You've got a couple of options of which one to go for. So the deal of the week is the big one here, which is a 4 litre?
Yes, 4.6.
Oh, my word, 4.6
Even
litre
bigger.
pot. Wowza, it's massive. OK, so 4.6 litre pot is the deal of the week at 20 quid. That's amazing. £19.99, £17.99 if you are in the club. That's an amazing price for that one. However, if that's just a bit above your price range at the moment, I completely understand. I know it's Christmas time, and you want to go for something a little bit less expensive, you can go for the same plant. That's this one here, £12.99 in the 15 centimetre
And do you know what I'm going to say? For the difference of £7, I would go for the bigger one, because
I agree, actually.
It would take, I'm going to say, at least a couple of years for that to get to that.
Yeah, they are very slow growing.
So I would definitely go for the biggie, and that is only $19.99, and it will arrive. It should arrive in bud, about to flower.
Oh my word, you'll be getting it at the perfect time.
You will.
You really will be getting it at the perfect time to be able to enjoy the fragrance. Spot on.
That's a lovely plant, isn't it? Right, we're going to move on to our witch hazel next, called Ruby Glow, and this is actually on my list at the moment.
It's in my... So I've got regulars, you know. I know. Stu said it's in your imaginary garden. No. I know, I've got
You're
a fantasy
moving,
garden.
aren't you?
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
The house is going on the market.
But you've got a lot of your plants in pots anyway, haven't you?
Indeed,
yes.
no. No, this is in my weird and wonderful category.
Ah.
So I have a category that is weird and wonderful. Yes, it's where Stu lives. And honestly, it's the highest compliment. I love a bit of weird and I love a bit of wonderful.
That's
so
why we work so well
together. That's why I love this, because I do think it's just a bit weird, and that's amazing. It's a talking point, isn't it? It's unusual.
No, I agree. They're like ribbons, aren't they?
I love them, honestly. I mean, you've got the Laura Petala.
I've got the Laura Petala, the Chinese witch hazel, which has very similar flowers.
Yeah.
They're completely different foliage.
The ribbons, the flowers that you get from them are beautiful. And this one is a winter flowering one. So there's buds on this plant waiting to burst open, and they flower generally between December and February. So it's great to have a scented winter flowering plant.
And it will go quite big, this one.
Oh, it can, yeah. Now, it can get to a good 4 metres.
Yeah, so... But, I mean, that would take a long time to get there.
Take a little while, yeah, absolutely. Plant it in. I mean, to be honest, this would like a sunny position, but it can cope with a part shady spot. It's fully winter hardy, which means it has our seal of approval, but it means our hardy guarantee. It means that if it ever dies, ever, in your lifetime, you can get back in touch with us and we will replace it free of charge. You just have to pay your postage cost to get it out to you. And I love our lifetime guarantee. I just think that's really special.
I mean, I honestly don't know any other plant retailer that offers that.
No, I don't.
So any plant that has it, if they can, which ones have that? If you go on our website, if any plant you're buying has it, there's a little snowflake symbol, and if it's got that, it means fully winter hardy, lifetime guarantee. So even in 10 years' time, if that died, we'd replace it for free, which is amazing. So you just pay the postage. Now, we have got now some bulbs on clearance, and I can honestly say I have planted more tete-a-tetes this year than ever before. I've planted hundreds of these because I just think the tete-a-tetes are so cute. They are great for pots, containers, hanging baskets. It's not too late to plant them now. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say, right, buy them now and plant them in February. Because, yes, they'd still come up probably. But you might just get ones without flowers, and they might be a little small. So if you want them on clearance, but you still want great flowers, plant them as soon as they arrive. And our dispatch and delivery is really good. So as we head into the new year, $3.99 for 30 bulbs. Amazing value. And what I love about the tete-a-tete, you get lots of flowers on the single stem. And they're called tete-a-tete because it means the translation French is head-to-head, so it's like they're having a little intimate conversation. But they look so good and massed, don't they?
They really do. And I like the shorter daffodils. I haven't planted tete-a-tetes, although I think, because I've got our short miniature mix pack,
yeah.
So there'll probably be some tete-a-tetes in there. But I just love the shorter daffodils because they can live in so many more places. Taller daffodils, yes, you'll plant them out into your borders and pots and things, but you wouldn't put those into window boxes or into hanging baskets, whereas you can with these, and that's what I really like about them. They will live in all the places the tall daffodils will live, but also some others on top of that as well. And
I just think they're a little bit neater, they're a little bit more compact, they look great in clumps at the front of a bed or a border, and they will come back year after year. You know, narcissus, daffodils, they are one of the best at naturalising, spreading, and you get more and more flowers every single year. And they always flower around about March time, just as Mother's Day is here, sometimes Easter when we get an early Easter.
Yep.
But for me, that is the sign that spring is here. When they're in flower, that is it. It's like, yes, we've made it to the winter, spring is here, and summer is on its way. But they are in the clearance. I spent a lot more on mine. I think I got mine at $9.99.
It's a great time to buy them, honestly, because everything is, all the bulbs are £3.99. 3 different options of bulbs for you here, but go to the website because we've got another 3 available on the website as well, so we don't want you to miss out. Or watch the other show where we talk about those.
And now we've got the classic tulip next.
Classic. Triumph. Yeah. I mean, if you want the classic not trumpet.
Goblet?
That's daffodils I was thinking of. The classic goblet-shaped tulip. Then you want to go for the Triumph variety. These are beautifully red colour, lovely and tall, reaching about between 40 and 50 centimetres in height. Mostly nice sturdy stems on these to withstand British weather, work perfectly in pots, work great in borders. In fact, I had the Triumph tulip all along the front of a border last year. I should have brought my pictures in, and they looked amazing.
Do you know, we've both celebrated and loved some of the magnificent, weird and wonderful varieties of tulips.
Yeah.
I bought the parrot tulips this year and I planted those. But sometimes just the classics are the best. And actually, I've just being honest, some of the really unusually bred tulips sometimes don't flower as much in the second and third years.
Correct, yeah.
The classics do tend to come back a little bit bigger and stronger. So I love those. And again, they're in our clearance, 25 bulbs for just £3.99 or £3.59 if you are one of our many tens of thousands club members. Now we've got another brilliant winter flower for you now, and I know these as aconites. One of my mum's favourite, these.
Yeah, winter aconites, flowering in winter time. They normally come up in around February, so these are a perfect pairing if you've got your snowdrops and your crocus planted, because these will be coming up at roughly the same time.
And does it amaze you, these will even poke their heads through frosty ground and snow.
Yeah.
And they look amazing. If you've ever seen aconites when there's snow on the ground, it's quite a magical sight, actually. Very low growing, so low to the ground. They do spread once you get going as well.
Nice carpet of colour, isn't it, that it creates. They're award-winning, by the way. They've got the Award of Garden Merit from the RHS, plus they've given them that badge of perfect for pollinators. A really good one to plant if you are, taking care of the pollinators. As gardeners, we all want to do that. It gives them that nice early source of nectar.
And you do get 30 of those, by the way, for just, again, £4.99.
They're really easy to plant because they're quite small.
Yes.
Those are really simple to plant.
Now, we just mentioned there are some others in our clearance right now. So we've shown you the tulips, the tete-a-tete, the aconites. We've also got crocus, the mixed variety there, where you get the purples, you get the blues, you get the yellows as well. 40 bulbs for just £3.99, 600,082. We've also got the Spring Festival mix, and again 60 bulbs, including there the iris and the alliums, for just £3.99. Now, something that I keep meaning to buy is a Fritillaria, snake's head, but I've never grown these.
No, me neither.
Weird and wonderful, aren't they?
Love them. I think they're really unusual. And actually, they want a shady spot, which I quite like about this, because a lot of things that we plant, flowers in particular and bulbs, they want a sunny spot.
Yeah, a lot of bulbs.
Where am I going to plant in shade? This.
So I wonder if they'd grow underneath my eucalyptus tree.
I reckon they would.
I mean, it's a challenging area, but I might as well give it a go at £3.99.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to try those.
Try it.
But they are also great for pollinators, and the petals genuinely do look like a snake's head.
They do.
Yes.
I like that they're nodding as well. They've got that lovely nodding appearance to them.
Yeah, lovely colours
Like
as
that.
well. Now, also, don't forget, our deal of the week is our Psycho Coca Christmas box, sweet box. It's a beautiful winter flowering plant, this one. So evergreen, flowers, sort of like, I'm going to say end of December, January time, slow growing. And we love the fact that it will survive in full sun or deep shade and everything in between. That's quite remarkable for plants.
It is. Honestly, we say this every time we talk about it. There's so many good things about it.
There is.
Evergreen, will live in shade, winter flowering, fragrance, and slow growing. These are all major plus points for a lot of people and their gardens.
And that one would be happy in a container all of its life.
Yeah,
it really
absolutely,
would.
yeah. I love it.
And they do.
The scent is amazing.
So, and I will let you know, they do quite often self-seed and produce little babies underneath. But those little babies, and I know from my own experience, a friend gave me them. She gave me them about 3 years ago, and they're still about 4 inches high. I'm not joking. And that was yours. Was that last year, Bex?
Yeah, well, it was right at the beginning of this year, I think.
Of course, yeah,
I
January.
planted it into a border, but I'm going to take it back out the border because it's getting a bit taken over. I planted it near the geranium Rosanne and it's sort of taking over. But yeah, that was it, filmed in about January or February time, obviously when it's in full bloom. The fragrance from it was just mind-blowing. Really sweet, really vanilla-y, absolutely gorgeous. And that's a really good size there. You can see the difference. That's the 4.6 litre pot, the bigger one, obviously. We do have the smaller one available if you want to go for it. But Shaun and I both agree, we're not just trying to get you to spend more, honestly. We would go for the larger one just because it's only £7 more, and it being a slower growing plant, it's worth paying that extra £7.
I think so. I really do. And say for your club members, it's only £17.99.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget, we also have the raspberry canes, 10 canes, but this is a really great variety because it's autumn bliss. So it always crops on the new growth. So in a nutshell, you're going to get raspberries in 2025. Very easy once it's actually fruited. In November time, chop it right back pretty much to the ground, and then it will produce new canes the following year, which will fruit again. So a nice, easy one, that one. And you can even grow those. It's a more compact variety, only goes to about 1.5 meters. You can grow those in our heavy-duty pots as well. Saving £15.99, 330 055. Now, we were talking about the deal of the week, the Sarcococca. It would look great in these pots, Bex.
Yeah, you could definitely put Sarcococca in here.
Shall I go and get it?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay.
I'm on this side, let me grab it.
So the deal with these is they're normally $11.99 each. You can pick a colour. We've either got the bronze, we've got the silver, and we have got the clay, which is the natural, earthy-looking one. Under different item numbers, but whichever one you put in your basket, you'll get another 2 of the same colour absolutely free. So you're getting 3 for the price of 1, basically. $10.79 for club members.
I think I'm going darker.
I think I'm going dark as well.
Yeah, I'm going darker with that one. Right, so yes,
and I
that
think
would be
because the
happy
flowers
in
are
there.
kind of like white, I think the silver looks great there, don't you?
Yeah, and that would work really nicely for the plant of the week there with the Sarcococca. That would work really well. It would live in there happily for a few years because it is a nice slow-growing beauty. So for sure you could grow that in there. Which one have I got? I've got the silver one.
Yeah, that looks great.
Love it.
Yep. And actually, if you've bought some of the clearance bulbs, you imagine putting some little tete-a-tetes around there.
Tete-a-tetes around the edge.
Yeah. The crocus. It's like we're a married couple, Bex, isn't it? That's what happens when you work together for 18 months, isn't it?
It's a good job you can read.
The amount of times we said the same thing or finish each other's sentences. But yeah, that's a lovely planter there. They're 13 inches, got great drainage as well, 8 drainage holes.
Yep.
But all you need to do is choose either the silver, the bronze, or you have got the, what we call this one again? Was it clay, wasn't it? Which is the kind of earthy one.
Terra Nota.
Yes. And they are 13 inches. We do some smaller sizes.
Yeah, and we had a big one as well,
we
didn't we?
did.
There was
we did
a big
in the
one.
clay,
so
yeah.
you could have the family of pots going on here.
Yeah.
It's a great deal, though, honestly, to get the buy one, get 2 free. I would generally... go for as many as you can afford, basically, and go for the 3 different colours.
And it's always worth having spare pots, and then you can rotate them when things
I know,
don't...
this is what I need to do, because I was saying to you earlier, wasn't I? I dug up my Osteospermum Purple Sun really just before they were ready to be dug up, because I needed to use the pot for something else. This is where you need those spare pots, so you don't end up doing what I've done.
Throwing it away.
Throwing it away when you've still got a bit of life left in it.
It's worth getting extra pots.
Definitely.
And don't forget, if you want the Sarcococca, it is the deal of the week. And it is only $19.99, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's in a big 4.6 litre pot. It should arrive covered in buds, about to flower, beautiful and healthy, gorgeous evergreen leaves, fully winter hardy, sun or shade, everything in between. Not fussed about soil types, but it will give you the most exquisite winter fragrance.
I mean,
how not to love that one?
That is not a diva at all, is
not
it?
At all.
I'm fine. Just put me anywhere.
Now,
I'm all right.
another breeding breakthrough next. No, Bex, it's a Mahonia. Be careful.
No, I'm going to cut my hands. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. This is the Soft Caress. This has been specifically bred for 2 amazing benefits, and that is... there's no spines on this. There's no spiky bits, and you know Mahonia. Mahonia
Which I do.
is so spiky. You have to wear gauntlets, don't you?
I honestly had one in my last garden, and I'll be honest, it served a purpose because I had it at our garden overlooked a communal field, basically.
Right. So people trying to get into your garden.
This is the truth. We had an open fence at the back, and it's called the Oval, and it's a communal field where people play cricket and all sorts. So we put some spiky mahonias. There was a gap. So some of the fence was open, some was solid, but the open bit, I planted mahonias because I thought if anyone tries to get in the garden, they won't try it again. But honestly, I do remember whenever I had to prune it or even tidy up like the dead leaves.
Yeah, it's really spiky.
It would get through my gardening gloves. So a traditional mahonia, beautiful, but spiky and a little bit scary. Not this one.
No.
Soft.
Well, the breeders have taken away the spikes, which is brilliant. The other thing that they've done, though, is take away the size. Mahonia, I'm just trying to think of the two that are outside my doctor's surgery. They are 3 metres in height.
Yeah, I was going to say 2.5, 3 metres.
Yeah, probably a good 3 metres in height. This one has been bred to remain compact. So not only have you got a spine-free, spike-free plant, but you've also got a compact one. This is only ever going to get to about 1 metre height and spread. So great for planting into borders, but also perfect if you want a lovely feature plant in a pot.
And it does flower earlier than a traditional mahonia. So this is going to flower sort of like late summer into winter, but so many reasons to go for that one. But you still got very similar flowers. You got that beautiful fragrance.
And a beautiful kind of ferny foliage on there as well that remains evergreen.
I think so. I love traditional mahonias, but I think there are so many reasons to go for the soft caress. And it did get voted Plant of the Year at Chelsea 2013. There you go. See, we remember, don't we? 2013. So to win Plant of the Year is a massive accolade at Chelsea.
Oh, apparently that's Geranium Roseanne. We've got that wrong.
No, that won Plant of the Centenary in 2013.
And that one Plant of the Year?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Am I wrong, Stu?
No, you might be absolutely
Go on, Stu.
right.
I'm sure it was
I think Plant of the Year and Plant of the Centenary
different
could have
things.
been 2 different awards.
It was different categories at Chelsea.
I think you might be
I'm
right.
going to stand my ground.
You're going to hate it when Sean's right.
He's
searching
looking at it
it
now.
up. He's typing it in.
He's
right. He's right.
See? Stu, you need to trust me more, doesn't he? Yeah, they're totally different categories. Plant of the Year and Plant of the Centenary.
Exactly that, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I wasn't getting in the middle
I'm feeling really smug now.
I was not getting in the middle of that. Right, listen, we've got another question for you. We give out a lot of advice here, don't we?
We do.
We try to. So, the question here is... I'm going to ask you first.
Okay,
If you could go back and you could start this gardening year again, so going back to the beginning of 2024, what advice would you give yourself? And... Okay, so that then goes on to essentially what advice you're giving yourself for 2025.
Right, so if I look back at 2024, do you know what? I would have chosen more plants that loved the rain, because it was a really wet year.
That's a hindsight, it really...
It is, but things like the hydrangeas did amazing, because I loved it. Certain plants didn't do quite so well. So I think and it's hard because every year is different, but I think I'd put more plants in my garden that really don't care whether it's what the weather's like.
Right.
I try and make it a bit more robust, because I think with climate change, things are quite unpredictable. Certain plants, like the ones we've talked about today, things like nandinas, they didn't care.
No.
They really didn't care. My ferns didn't care. My grasses didn't care. Some things really didn't like the rain as much. So yeah, I think when I'm planting my garden, I'm looking for plants that, like my begonias did not care.
No, very true.
They don't mind sun or shade. They don't mind really wet or dry. So I think, because I've got a big garden, I need to put more things in that are a bit more weather tolerant no matter what the weather.
Yeah.
So that's the advice to myself. What about you?
Do you know what? I didn't have the most successful year of gardening this year, and I think it's because I didn't actually set aside enough time.
Yes.
So I think that's my biggest mistake, actually, of 2024, is I really need to sort of plan what I'm going to do and set aside the time to do it.
Yeah, totally
Because
agree.
I'm always flights of fancy. Yes, I've got my fantasy garden. Oh, I want this and oh, I want that. But I never actually put aside the time to create those big projects. I can plant something and a quick job here and a quick job there, but it's actually to make a big change, you need to put aside the time, and I did not do that this year.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I've got time next year for when I move house. You're right.
Well, the advice I've given myself for 2025 is buy more plants. Definitely. That's my New Year's resolution.
Buy more plants.
Seriously, it is.
Well, Stu's just said it. You've got a field to fill now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you absolutely need to.
So I'm going to buy more plants, but like you, gardening is about planning. You only have certain windows to do certain things. And I think gardening is so important, it is worth forgetting about the housework, getting the other half to do the cooking and the cleaning, and give yourself valuable time in the garden when you need it. Because then when you plan ahead, when you take the time to do things when they need doing, you end up with far better results.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to take a few more risks in 2025.
Yeah, that was the other thing. So make more time, take more risks.
Yeah.
Those are the two bits of advice, really. I mean, Stu, again, he's just saying in our ear, he talks a lot of sense, this man. He's just saying, like, we talk the talk, don't we? We give a lot of advice. We say all these things, but then we don't do it ourselves. So maybe it's time to actually do some of the things that we say.
But having said that, we both had really lovely gardens this year.
I'm not complaining. I've had a lovely garden. It's been a wonderful year. And my garden was beautiful. I had loads of colour. I had all the dahlias going. There's some really good bits.
Yeah. And do you know what? One thing I have learned as well is also not to give myself a hard time when things don't work out or are not quite right, because gardening is a journey.
Yeah.
It is about enjoying that journey, and every year is different. Every year is full of big successes and things that haven't worked out, but it's a journey and it's a fun journey, and I think we shouldn't beat ourselves up when things don't go quite right or when the garden doesn't look quite perfect.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy it.
Absolutely.
But anyway, the best advice I can give myself is buy more plants.
I'm with you, Shaun. Let's do that. Well, we want to say a very big thank you to all of our amazing viewers at YGTV, everyone that's shared pictures with us over the last 12 months. If you've shared any advice with us, we always enjoy that as well. For anybody that's purchased anything over the last 12 months, thank you so much for supporting us here in the Potting Shed. We love your company. We love you very much.
Really do.
And we're really looking forward to doing it all again next year.
And you really need to tune into the first live show of the year, which is on the 2nd, isn't it? 2nd of January.
We're both here then, right?
We're both here.
Lovely.
It's our Thursday show, so we'll be here 10 till 1 on the Thursday, and we've got some really good news about the club next year.
Yeah, if you're not a club member now, please join the club now.
Yeah, we can't say why, but
you'll know why in the new year. Just do it now.
Yeah, it makes sense to join now. We've got even bigger and better benefits coming up in 2025, which we're really excited about.
So excited.
That's why I'm going to be buying more plants. Bex, we had a lovely year together.
I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
It's been great, hasn't it?
I love your company.
And
Can't wait to do it next year.
And I'm wishing you health and happiness in
You
2025.
too, my love.
And the same with all of you wonderful gardeners out there. And keep gardening, because it will keep you happy, hopefully, and it will hopefully keep you fit as well.
Totally, yeah. We hope you've had a lovely festive period. Happy New Year to you all, and we'll see you on the 2nd of January. Lots of love from me and Shaun and Stu. Mwah.